Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how you can adapt a different shop vac filter to a Craftsman XSP. This is a 16-gallon, 6.5 horsepower model. The vacuum will come with a paper filter that will last a good long time if blown out and brushed out, which is what I have been doing with this particular unit. This vacuum is about 7 years old. The one thing that the filter does not fare well with is water. It is a paper filter, and once it gets wet, it will start to disintegrate, which is what happened in my case. I've been using this shop vac for my wet blasting system, and initially when I first used it, I forgot to take the filter out. I ran the wet blast cabinet with the filter in the unit, and it immediately started to deteriorate, and the filter fell apart. Well, I got some emergency use out of it by fashioning a temporary filter that I could use to still vacuum my car and vacuum up dust and debris around the shop. And what I'm doing now is, when I'm using it in the vapor blast cabinet, I take the filter out completely. Well, it's time now for me to go back to vacuuming out some of my vehicles, and I needed to get a new filter. Well, the Craftsman filters will run you about 20 bucks, and I was looking for something that's a little bit better than a paper filter. And what I came across is a Bauer. So this is a Harbor Freight brand. They have different size shop vacs. What I found interesting about this filter is that it can be used, it can be reused. It's washable. So here it says washable and reusable. That was very interesting. When I went ahead and looked at it in the store, it does have a filtering system that is made, instead of a paper, it's made out of plastic, which I found pretty cool. So it's essentially a synthetic fiber is what it's made out of. So let's get into the box here and see what we got. So when we open up our box, what we have is a securing lid, and then you got your filter. So here it is. And what I like about this filter is this filter has a cage inside, so you don't have to worry about this collapsing. So long as you can fasten it to the shop vac, this will keep it from sucking the filter in. Unlike the one that comes with the Craftsman, the paper filter relies on a plastic cage that is built into the shop vac. So let's take that one out, the original one, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here's the original filter. And again, like I said, it's a paper filter. And I did get good use out of it, but it just does not do well when it gets wet. When it gets wet, it just starts to fall apart, as you can see. And it's all filled with mildew. Anyway, it's pretty much done. But I didn't want to replace it with the same type of filter, because I am running into some situations where I do need to use it to suck up some water. And I thought, hey, a washable filter's it's a great idea. So let's see what we got to do to get this Bauer filter to fit in this Craftsman vac. All right, so from the start, here's our problem. All right, we got no way to seal this to make it work. And then we can't. I don't know that we can do anything with this. Maybe we can drill it. So guys, let's head over to the CAD software. I'm just going to grab some measurements from here. So the measurement that you're going to want to get is from this bottom part here to about this point. So you want to get that height measurement. We also want to measure the diameter of this cage. And then we also want to get measurements of this filter. So we're going to want to measure the full width of this filter, the inside diameter of the filter, as well as its height. So as we can see, it looks like it almost would work the way it is if it wasn't for this part that sticks out. So probably what we're going to have to do is design something that has like a round plate with a piece of plastic section that comes up and that terminates right around here, allowing us to reuse the original nut that the vacuum cleaner came with. All right, so let's head on to Onshape and we'll design one. Guys, if you like the content I'm putting out, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with your buddies. Some comments. I love the comments. All right, guys. So start up Onshape. Once you get in, you're going to create a new document. So click on Create, click on Document, and just give it a name. And once our planes show up, we're going to change the work units to millimeters. Click the checkbox. Now we're going to select the plane. Click on Sketch first. Select your plane. And then we're going to press the N key to straighten it out. We're going to create 2 circles. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our measurements that we took, and we're going to give these circles some dimensions. So we have 148 millimeters for the inside and 172 for the outside. All right, click on your checkbox. We're done with this part. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to extrude this. So click on your extrude and going to extrude this 9 millimeters. Click the checkbox. Now I like to turn on the sketch so I can see the previous sketch. So if you have another shape that you want to look at, just turn that on. Now we're going to create another extrusion from the back side. Here we are. We clicked on extrude. Now we're going to extrude the back, and we're also going to grab this ring. We're going to extrude this thing out 2 millimeters. And then click the checkbox. Once we've determined it's the right size. And I think that looks pretty good. All right, now the next thing we're going to have to do is create the space in the middle. So we're going to first shell this thing out. That way we created this little rim where the filter is going to sit in. Click the checkbox. And the next thing we're going to have to do is punch a hole through the center. Let's change that to a 2 millimeter. It looks better. All right. So we're going to click the sketch again. Select the plane, which is going to be the front plane. Or this face right here, which I believe is the front plane as well. Okay. We're going to create a circle. Little thing here so we can define it. Sorry, 112 millimeter. Now we're going to extrude this, but instead of extrude it, we're going to remove it. So let's go up here to remove, click it, checkbox, and we're pretty much done with this one. So we're going to give it a name, Harbor Freight Vac Filter, adapter, and then base. Let's go ahead and export this one file. And then once it's downloaded, we want to extract it and then open it in Cura. Alright, so from here what we're going to want to do is orient this so that it will print properly. I'm going to click on the object, go down here to where it says rotate, and then we're going to rotate with this flat side facing down. Just drop it, and then that's going to position it so that it will print the most efficient way. Alright, everything looks good. Next thing we're going to do is just click on where it says save to disk, or if you're using Octoprint, you can send it over to Octoprint. So now back to Onshape. We're going to duplicate this part, and then we're going to click on this, and we're going to rename this Vac Filter Top. So what we're going to want to do here is edit sketch 1, and all the dimensions are pretty much going to stay the same, but we're going to change this middle circle. We're going to make that smaller. So this one's going to be 32 millimeters. Now next thing we're going to want to do is change this extrude. We're going to add an extrude. Complete that. Next thing we want to do is create another sketch, and this is for the opening that's going to go through. So just create a circle, and we'll define it, and this one will be 17 millimeters. Click the checkbox, and now we want to extrude it, but we want to extrude it like remove the center section. Through all. Okay, that looks good. Click the checkbox. Alright. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to also hollow out most of this circle. And I think to do that we're going to use the shell command again. See if I can remember how to do this. Alright, so it's not letting me select. There it goes. Alright, so that's what we want. Click the checkbox, and that part is done. However, we lost the extrude through all for some reason. So give me a second here, guys, while I try to figure this out. Oh, that's not working. Maybe we can punch it through this way. Yeah, I think this might work. Okay, remove. And through all. And there we go. Alright. So now we got our little hollowed out section here. And this is the part where that plastic screw is going to come through. Or stud. Alright, so we're going to use, for this, we're going to use the fillet tool. And then select this outer edge. Let's make it 2 millimeters. Okay, that looks good. Alright, click the checkbox. Yeah, that's better. Alright, I think it looks good the way it is. Just give it a quick rotate here, make sure everything looks good. I think this will work out just fine. Now what I want to do is right click on it, export. After we change the name to top. So this is going to be Harbor Freight Vac Filter Adapter Top. Alright, perfect. Now right click on it, export. And we'll leave that alone. Alright, now we're going to go back to Cura. We're going to delete this one since it's already completed. We're going to open the location of our downloaded file. There it is. Okay, now for this one, since we don't have a perfectly flat side, for this to print correctly, we're going to have to put the chimney side facing up. So we're going to rotate this to where this shelled bottom is facing down, and then we're going to have to add support structures to it. Otherwise, the 3D printer will be unable to print this plastic up in the air, so we're going to have to create some kind of a support. For you guys who are already familiar with 3D printing, sorry for the redundant information, but for those of you that are still learning, this part's important. Okay, so everything that's you see underneath that's in red, that's essentially suspended in the air, and we're going to have to add supports for this. And you can do that easily in Cura. You just have to go in here on the right side and select the support structure. So we're just going to scroll down here to where it says support. Okay, where's our support? There you go. Okay, so click on support, and then we want our support to touch the build plate. So we want to change this from support placement from everywhere to build plate. See, we'll change the support density. Okay, touching build plate, and we'll change the support density to, I think we could get away with 5%. See, we'll change that to 5%. That way we're not using a bunch of filament on the support. So guys, I know I have this thing set at 2%. But I think that 5% might be better. So I'm gonna adjust this support material to 5%, and it may not show here because I recorded the video prior, but I did make that change. And here is the build up all the way to the top. Okay, so we're going to click on save to disk, and save it. So guys, from here we're going to print it, and once that's complete we'll go ahead and assemble everything. Here is the top section finished printing, and let me tell you, this thing kicked my butt. I had some problems with my 3D printer. The filament was jamming, it was breaking at the extruder motor. I mean, it was ugly. But after a week of battling with it, I finally got it working again. Hopefully all the gremlins are worked out of it now. And we successfully printed this part after 3 attempts. Anyhow, I'll go ahead and pull it off the printer take off all the support material, and we'll see how it fits. Now that we got our parts off the 3D printer, now it's time to install it on our vacuum. So we're going to start off with the bottom ring. So this is going to fit over the existing plastic cage. It will go all the way down to the bottom and take up all those gaps. That way our filter will seal right here on this edge. It does have a rubber bottom and a rubber top, so we can make two parts similar to this. One would have the screw fitting on top, and then this one's going to be the base plate. Next, we're going to need the filter. And then finally, our lid. And then what I had to do, because I didn't make this part tall enough, is I had to make an insert for this. What I'll do, guys, is I'll include the STL files free, so you guys can download if you have one of these shop vacs and you want to use one of these Bauer reusable washable filters. The updated STL file, you won't need this because I'll have the correct size. But I'll include the washer just in case. It might fit other vacs. You just need to try it. So let's fasten this thing up and try it out. All right, let's try it out. Working good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Till next time, God bless.